For the Trump trial today, which has been a lot of fun so far, I have to say. Don Corleone's hush money honey, Stormy Daniels, took the stand yesterday and caused quite a commotion. Stormy yesterday went into a bit more detail.
Jimmy Kimmel often uses satire and humor in his late-night show to comment on current events and public figures, including politicians like Donald Trump. This style is typical of many late-night talk show hosts who blend comedy with political commentary. The nature of these shows is to entertain while also providing commentary, which often involves a bit of exaggeration and humorous spins on real events. The beef you mentioned isn't personal in the traditional sense, but is more about the role of comedians and satirists in public discourse. Kimmel, like his peers, critiques and lampoons political figures and their actions as part of his show's content. This approach is intended to provoke thought, entertain, and sometimes highlight the absurdities or inconsistencies in political and public life. Trump's presidency was particularly controversial and polarizing, making him a frequent subject of late-night show monologues and comedic sketches. His actions, policies, and public statements often provided material for these shows. The relationship between Trump and the media, including entertainment and news, has been fraught with tension, with Trump often criticizing the media sharply and the media, in turn, being very critical of his policies and behavior. It was a day off from the Trump trial, which has been quite eventful so far. Yesterday, Stormy Daniels testified, providing more details about her encounter with Trump than his legal team would have preferred. With no cameras allowed in the courtroom, we've had to rely on sketches and transcripts. At one point, while Stormy recounted the story about spanking Trump with a Forbes magazine, Judge Marin pulled one of Trump's lawyers aside after Trump appeared to mutter "bulls asterisk asterisk asterisk" under his breath. The judge chose to speak privately to avoid further embarrassment for Trump, who was on trial for allegations related to his conduct while his wife was home with their infant. But it seems the embarrassment is already quite public. Meanwhile, a primary election was taking place in Indiana. Trump won on the Republican side, as he's the only Republican running. But interestingly, Nikki Haley, who dropped out 2 months ago, still secured over 20% of the vote. This suggests a significant number of Indiana voters are reluctant to support Trump, or perhaps Mike Pence was incredibly busy at the polls. On his day off from the trial, Trump focused on his latest venture, hosting a VIP dinner at Mar-a-Lago for supporters who purchased his NFTs. To get an invite, fans had to buy all 47 of Trump's NFTs at $99 each. It must be quite a day for his assistant. Reminder, tonight you dine with the folks who paid $4,700 for digital images of you in Superman attire, and some even paid $10,000 for the privilege of a more personal encounter. Donald Trump's 2024 trials involve several key legal cases, reflecting a range of allegations from falsifying business records to mishandling classified documents. Here's an overview of the ongoing and notable aspects of these cases. Hushed money trial in New York. This trial began in April 2024, with Trump facing charges related to falsifying business records to conceal hush money payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. These payments were allegedly made to prevent her from disclosing a past affair during the 2016 presidential campaign. The trial has seen testimonies from key figures such as Hope Hicks, who discussed the internal reactions to the Access Hollywood tape and other campaign crises. Federal prosecutions. Trump is expected to face trials for mishandling classified documents after his presidency. Additionally, there are charges concerning obstruction related to his actions during and after the 2020 presidential election, including the January 6 Capitol attack. Georgia election racketeering prosecution. This involves allegations related to attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. The case is notable for its implications regarding election interference. Throughout these trials, Trump's interactions with the media have also been a focal point, illustrating his confrontational approach and attempts to influence public perception through transactional relationships with media figures. These cases are significant not only for their legal outcomes but also for their broader implications on political accountability and the rule of law in the United States. For more comprehensive details on these cases, you can refer to the coverage on Wikipedia's page on Trump's trials and other news sources that track day-to-day developments in these high-profile cases. Trump's trial. Donald Trump is facing a significant legal challenge in a criminal trial that started on April 15, 2024. The charges revolve around the alleged falsification of business records within the Trump Organization, particularly related to payments made to silence Stormy Daniels, a pornographic film actress, regarding her claims of an extramarital affair with Trump. These payments were reportedly documented as legal expenses by the Trump Organization, which prosecutors argue was done to mislead auditors and tax authorities. This trial involves 34 felony counts, each of which carries a potential sentence of up to 4 years in prison if Trump is found guilty. The trial is held in New York, and the process includes the selection of 12 jurors and 6 alternates, which is being overseen by Judge Dwan N. Merchant. The jurors are being carefully vetted to avoid biases, and their identities are being kept confidential, known only to the prosecution, Trump, and their respective legal teams. Key witnesses expected to testify include Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, who has already pleaded guilty to related federal campaign finance violations, and potentially Stormy Daniels herself. In addition to this trial, Trump faces other legal challenges, including allegations of election interference and mishandling classified documents, although these are scheduled for later dates and are separate from the ongoing trial in New York. Trump has consistently denied the encounters with Daniels and McDougal, and his defense strategy highlights these denials, portraying the case as politically motivated. His legal team intends to challenge the credibility of Cohen and Daniels, aiming to establish that the payments were unrelated to Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Political commentary. The political commentary in the monologue that you mentioned highlights 2 significant aspects of the electoral dynamics involving Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. Firstly, it discusses Trump's continued influence and dominance in the Republican primaries, despite the various controversies surrounding him. This dominance reflects his sustained support base within the Republican Party, which often sees him as a pivotal figure despite legal challenges and controversies. Secondly, the commentary touches upon the surprising number of votes that Nikki Haley received even after dropping out of the race. This aspect is particularly notable because it suggests that a significant portion of the electorate remains interested in alternative Republican candidates besides Trump. Haley's ability to garner votes post-withdrawal could indicate voter dissatisfaction with the current leading candidates or a desire for different leadership qualities that they perceive Haley represents. Such election results are instrumental in analyzing voter sentiment and the internal dynamics of party politics. They provide insights into the voters' attitudes and could influence future political strategies and campaigns. This narrative serves to underscore ongoing political dynamics within the Republican Party and reflects broader voter sentiment that might impact future elections. NFTs and social events. This scenario describes a hypothetical situation where former President Donald Trump engages with his supporters through 2 unconventional methods: NFT, non-fungible token, sales, and an exclusive dinner event. NFTs are unique digital assets stored on a blockchain, often used to represent ownership of digital art, collectibles, or other digital content. Meanwhile, exclusive events, like dinners, are often used by politicians and public figures to interact with supporters in a more intimate setting. By combining these 2 elements, the scenario highlights a satirical view of Trump's engagement with his supporters. Firstly, the mention of NFT sales suggests a trend of using emerging technologies and digital platforms for fundraising and engagement purposes. NFTs have gained popularity in recent years as a way for artists, celebrities, and public figures to monetize digital content. However, the concept of selling NFTs to supporters as a means of engagement can be seen as a commercialization of political interactions, turning political engagement into a transactional exchange. Secondly, the exclusive dinner event adds another layer of satire by highlighting the idea of catering to a select group of supporters through exclusive and extravagant events. Such events, while common in political fundraising, can be perceived as elitist and disconnected from the everyday concerns of the general public. The juxtaposition of NFT sales with an exclusive dinner event further emphasizes the perceived absurdity of using trendy digital assets alongside traditional forms of political engagement.